Hey everybody, and welcome to the final edition of Up To Date and What I Missed for 2025 with November 28th, 2025. Up to now, I've covered 1,000 albums, and today we're covering 22 final albums this year, with 5 out today, 14 that I missed along the way, and 2 that are coming out December 19th during my yearly break. But I still really wanted to cover them. While I somehow am still breathing despite the lack of energy and life left in me, I'm going to try to make this as strong as I possibly can before we get into Heavy Debriefings Top 100 Albums of 2025, starting December 1st. So for one last time in 2025, let's get into it. First up, we have Equilibrium with Equinox. The 7th album from this long-running German band seems to have been a change in sound for the band. While still having that epic folk metal sound, the band is experimenting more with Melodeath, Metalcore, and modern metal sounds more than ever before, creating a very different album for the band, but the band has also fit that perfectly in their catalog. The elements of the past are still here, but with just through a 2025 lens. The production is fantastic, and it's layered in a way that is so pleasing to the ears. And songwriting still has that passion of the band that they've ever had since the beginning. If anything, a new fire's been lit under the band, and that 6-year break in between albums and lineup changes may have just saved the band. I can see this being the reroute to remain for Equilibrium. They may lose some, but they're going to gain so much more. For anyone who enjoys Encephalum, Fintroll, and Brimir, meets Amaranth, Dynasty, and All for Metal, well, it took me a while to get adjusted to this one, but once I did fall in love. Give this one a proper listen and see what Equilibrium does for you in 2025. Now we have Moron with Pachinko. I'm not going to say where this lands, but it is one of my favorite albums of 2025. Moron is one of the most underappreciated bands to ever grace my ears, and I want to shout out their name from the rooftops. This Norwegian band's 4th album is a wild, wacky look at a concept album I won't go into full detail here, but within all 14 tracks, no 2 songs sound alike, and you will hear moments from their previous album stylistically, as it can get heavy, it gets technical, it gets proggy, it gets wacky, it can get emotional and heart-gripping, and of course again, it can get just plain silly. I wouldn't want it any other way. I knew a little bit about this album when I did an interview with Sandre back in 2019 for their previous album, A Boat on the Sea, which was my favorite album of 2019. This is my kind of prog these days, where the rules are thrown out the window in favor of making the music you want to make, mixing prog, rock, pop, metal, and so much more rolled into one. Given the tragic events of the band, the album was finished up by drummer Billy Reimer of the Dillinger Escape Plan of all bands, and it's an incredible thing to hear. This is easily one of the best albums of the year once again, and in a year with some of my favorite bands putting out their best work, that is not an easy thing to say. This is a triumph of an album in a world of negativity that seems never ending. We need an album that's just fun and positive, that'll make you smile and laugh at the absurdity. That's Moron in a nutshell. This is an album I needed at the end of the year, and if you're like me, I hope you'll need an album like this as well. Now we have Spock's Beard with the Archaeoptimist. The 14th album from this long-running prog rock band seems to have lit a new fire under the band, and I am all here for it. Whether the band continues to explore what prog can be in 2025, the genre bending the band has always been known for, or just going on a full force of whimsical, wacky, wanky, and all the other tropes that you expect from this band at this point. The band is proving that there is no time or room to rest on their laurels. This album feels like prog 101 and showcasing what prog has been for the past 60 plus years. You can hear nods to everyone from Gentle Giant to Toto to Genesis to Yes, all while giving nods to their former self in songs and motifs. Least we forget that 20-minute monster epic that hits so hard and is sure to become one of the best known epics of their catalog. A lot of the new fire in the band feels like it comes from the new drummer Nick Potters, who knows when to go subtle and when to go bonkers on the drums. Seriously, Spock's Beard is back in a big way, and I'm so happy to see it. Prog rock is alive and well in 2025. It just took till the end of the year for Spock's Beard to prove how it's done. Now we have Struck a Nerve with their self-titled debut. The debut album from this up-and-coming UK band is what thrash metal and crossover thrash genre is all about. Featuring past and present members of the band Shrapnel, this hits everything about the fun atmosphere, the heavy approach, and the pin-inducing riffs that all of that comes with. There's not a lot of time to breathe on this one as it's 9 songs and comes in a little over 32.5 minutes, which flies by, but when it's done, you'll instantly want to start it over. It combines the past bands of Suicidal Tendencies and DRI, a heavy dose a power trip, and it feels right at home with bands like Anger Machine, Paralysis, and of course, early day Shrapnel. Overall, you want a textbook definition of the sound, Struck a Nerve rewrote it with their self-titled album. This is everything that you could possibly want in this style, and more. And finally, for brand new albums out today is Thermality with Concept 42, the third album in 3 years from the Swedish band, and after discovering them last year with their sophomore album The Final Hours, Thermality is making a huge name for themselves, and Concept 42 proves it. This is easily the most hard-hitting and grand album they've done to date. The band captures their tributes to the 90s Swedish Melodeath sound and their love of 2000s metalcore with just enough modern influences to make the band that is for everyone who loves Killswitch Engage, Among Ruins, and especially In Flames. The production is easily their best, and of course that will happen when you have Fredrik Nordstrom behind the boards. This is everything you love and miss about the golden days of Melodeath and metalcore rolled into one perfect package. Thermality is the future of the genre, and all you need to do is hear Concept 42 to understand why. And now for everything that I missed, starting with Aurora Ortus with Against Ourselves. The sophomore album from this Brazilian duo is that mix of post-black and doom that we all need in our lives right now. It's disenchanted, heartbroken, downtrodden, and as you'd imagine this combination to be, it's done with excellent efficiency. It never gets too slow, so those who hate doom don't need to worry, and it never gets over the top and evil and dark like black metal can get. It's that fine line between it all, and it works miraculously. The production, while still a bit raw, is a huge improvement over their debut, and they're only going to get bigger and better from here on out. The songwriting is quite the journey to explore with all of the genres that they have to offer, plus a hard-hitting genre bending for good measure. If you love Agalok, you're gonna love this, but if you also enjoy bands like Clarent Ash, Outrest, and Ruins of Barast, you will love what Aurora Ortus has to offer. Now we have Broken Fate with Horizon. This is an album I've been waiting to cover since June, and I hate that it took this long, but I wanted to get it in before I was done with the end of the year. The fourth album in 10 years from the Swiss band creates a blend of Melodeath and thrash that satisfies so many musical senses in a way that brings you back to the golden age of this sound. Just heavy enough for the Melodeath side, just peppy enough for the thrash fans, and blending both in a musical way that doesn't feel try-hard or forced. The production is a little more raw than one would normally expect, but they make it work to their advantage. The songwriting never feels too long, even though it is 12 songs in 54.5 minutes. It still feels natural. This feels like that mix of middle-era Suspiria, Testament, and In Flames to create a heavy and creative riffs and melodies. If this sounds like your bag, it will be. Give this one a proper listen. Next up, I deeply apologize if I get this wrong, Cristiano Filippini's Flames of Heaven with Symphony of the Universe. The sophomore album from this Italian symphonic power metal band is bringing in the end of the year with the symphonic power metal that we all deserved in 2025. The genre has been quite low overall in terms of albums, but the quality has been great, and this is no exception. Having an album of this quality to end the year with feel-good anthems that we need in 2025. While the lyrical content can get quite dark and sad, the music just feels so genuinely nice to hear with that classic symphonic and power metal sound that we all know and love. While not reinventing the wheel at all, that's not what I'm going into this for. I want the best made music of this genre possible, and that's what's done here. The production is clear and polished, and the songwriting can feel a bit long at 13 tracks and an hour and 9 minutes, but if you enjoy this style, they make the most of every second recorded. If you enjoy the likes of Fellowship, Glyph, Twins Crew, and the Seventh Guild, this is an album you need in your life. Give it a spin right now. Now we have Denying God with Falling in the Pale Mist. The debut album from the Slovakian band is a pure, brutal assault, while having haunting melodies and harmonies that'll be stuck in your head for days. This is my kind of deathcore. As I keep saying, deathcore works best as a foundation, not the main ingredient. This is a perfect example of that. Mixing the symphonic black metal on top of deathcore bass is the perfect mixture for this sound. The production, while sounding clear, does need to be turned down a little bit, as this one comes in quite hot and it does peak, but if you turn it down just a tad, it all balances out. The songwriting is darkly majestic and it hits so very hard. This is easily for those who enjoy the likes of Lorna Shore, Shadow of Intent, and Of Sulfur. Honestly, this may be one of my favorites of the whole year for symphonic black and deathcore. Just check it out for yourself. Next up, we have The Fallen Prodigy with Fragments. The sophomore album from this New York band is such a welcome throwback to 2000s metalcore while forging their own path with other influences to spice up the sound. I can hear elements of my teenage years here with Killswitch Engage, Trivium, and On Earth, but I also hear more progressive metal elements and more straight-up metal elements and other genre-bending moments that makes the music stand out and feel appropriate in 2025. The production is crystal clear and hits hard, while the songwriting is filled with depth on both both the lyrical and musical sides of the equation. While this won't be for everyone who checks out my list, this is for those of my age range who grew up on second wave metalcore and wants to hear what the 2020s version of that influence has produced. This is killer stuff. Now we have Frost with Age of Fading and Doom. The 7th album in 23 years from this Hungarian band hits a level of black metal that not many can achieve. It hits all the tropes that you'd expect from the genre, but there's this extra aura to it all that showcases a round-the-world lecture of what black metal can and should be at this time. No two songs sound alike, and the production finds a way to capture it all with a punishing yet human tone. It's dark, evil, mystical, and a grand look at the genre as a whole. If you enjoy the likes of the latest albums from Bliss of Flesh, Darkseal, and Tarfod, Frost is a band that'll be right up your alley. Go check them out. Now we have Malakim with And in Our Hearts, the Devil Sings. Easily one of the best satanic black metal bands that I've ever come across. The sophomore album featuring past and present members of Naglfar, Death Pulsation, and Twilight has created a loving tribute to not only the Dark Lord, but the second and third wave black metal, with the best touch of it all, actually good production. While it is still kinda raw, it's a pulverizing display of the genre that almost has a 90s Swedish death metal feel overall in its tone, but it's pure black metal in its black heart. Some riffs on this album are some of the best in the genre, and they will grab you without warning. This album could easily win over the most diehard and tryhard of evil music fans. For those who enjoy Tarfod, Watain, Naglfar, and Bliss of Flesh, you'll love Malakim. This is evil done right. Now we have Nefarious with Cosmic Crypt. The debut album from this Polish outfit is a stunning display of mixing up a heaping set of mellow black with just the right hints of Melodeath and other herbs and spices to create an album that feels dark, evil, and sophisticated. As great as the music is on its own, it's heightened by its use of orchestration, making everything feel more triumphant and unique for the style. The production is a bit raw, but for a debut album, it still sounds great, and I imagine that'll only improve in time. The songwriting is what makes you stay for this one, as it suckers you in and holds you in for all 10 songs in 58 minutes. This is easily for those who enjoy the likes of Raven's Blood, Godiva, Embrace the Darkness, and Medusian. This is a stellar piece of symphonic blackened Melodeath. Listen and hear for yourself. Next up is Sad Serenity with Tiny Miracles. Another album I waited too long to cover, but I'm finally getting to it by the end of the year. The sophomore album from this international band is sheer brilliance in the prog metal and rock worlds. It knows when to kick into the heavier side of things just as often as it knows how to showcase the beautiful melodies and harmonies that come from the rock side. All done with finesse and prosperity that other bands of the genre just can't capture. It hits all the tropes that you want, from the stunning musicianship to epic song lengths to jaw-dropping solos to the astonishing songwriting. While this does get wanky at times, it can be a great thing when done right. The production hits so hard and is exactly what is called for in this style of prog. If you enjoy bands like Joviak, Massetti, Haken, and Dream Theater, Sad Serenity is one of the best prog albums of the year, and in a world where we need some truly great prog music, give it a proper spin and enjoy. Next up, we have Shivered with Chains. I discovered this one-man Iranian band last year with 2024's Existential Mourning, and we already have a new album with this third album, Chains. This album is a bit of a change in sound with more cleans, more dynamics, but just as dark, doomy, and depressing, if not more so. The production has stepped up to a new level, and the songwriting, along with that, is the best that the project has done so far. The concept of this album is very dark, and I really can't get into it on social media without a warning popping up, making sure that I'm okay, but if you go to Shiver's Bandcamp, it's described there. It's a fantastic display of gothic doom for those who enjoy the likes of Early Day Catatonia, Arouse the Darkness, Dinumbra, and Tiamat. It is not an album for the faint of heart, but it's also one of the best in the genre in 2025. Next up is Solstice Rider with Death and Rebirth. After being reminded that this album came out, I had to go check it out. I can't catch them all, unlike that popular Chinese card game, but I did catch this one before I got done at the end of the year, and I'm glad that I did. The sophomore album from this Maryland band combines the best of Melodeath, power metal, folk, and doom, and so much more to create a cohesive blend of music that is just fun to listen to. While no two songs sound alike, they flow together naturally and fit the mold of what the band is trying to achieve. The production is a little raw, but nothing that is distracting. Songwriting is a sheer delight from beginning to end. This is for those who enjoy the likes of Winter Sun, Godark, Nefarious, and Insomnium. What a great display of genre bending while still leaving more mysteries for the future. Up next is either Starrer or Starer. Both are entirely possible, with Ancient Monuments and Modern Sadness. With an album as grand, worldly, and adventurous as this, I was not expecting this to come out of Kentucky of all places. But the fourth album from this one-man band is one of the best one-man band albums I've heard all year. It hits everything that I love about symphonic black metal, post-black, atmospheric black metal, and so much more, all while making it feel so grandiose. The production is otherworldly in its tones and the scale, and the songwriting is easily one of the best of the genre that you're going to find in the 2020s. If you enjoy the likes of Malakim, Argest, Tarfod, and Blackbraid, you need this band, and you better check it out right now. Just let the music do the talking for you. Now we have Stonebirds with Perpetual Wasteland. The fifth album from this French trio is quite the trip. It hits so much of what I love about the alternative side of post-metal, sludge metal, doom metal, and more, and puts its own spin to it all. You can tell after 5 albums and 14 years together with this lineup that the chemistry in the band is brewing quality work. The production is perfect for the style, and that songwriting is endless in its variety, but still cohesive to their core sound. Imagine a mix of latter-day Catatonia, Junius, and Abraham, and you have Stonebirds, a band that should be on your radar if you dig the sound. This is how you make genres your own. And finally, my last album that I missed this year is Vertist with Citizens of the Universe. The debut album from this entity where I really don't know who's involved or where they're from, although France is what I see come up most often, is carrying over what how else can you really put this? Sleep Token have made their own. But the key difference between comparisons to bands like Sleep Token, President, and other bands who've taken the sound of modern metal and fused it with various types of other genres is that this is more on the metal side of things, with the occasional left of center turn. If they want to go poppy, they will. If they want to incorporate new metal, that'll be there. But the heavy side never truly leaves, and that's what captures my interest. While I can definitely say the vocal stylings will not be for everyone, they do make music unique and stand out in a crowd of a lot of bands trying to capture this style. This is easily some of the best music made in this style, and if you want a more underground take to it all, you should give this entity a proper listen. You may not get it on the first try, but if there's enough to capture your interest, keep listening. It just may wash over you. And now for a rare segment on Out Today and What I Missed, albums that are coming out during my break. These next 2 albums are ones that are coming out December 19th, but I'll be on break, and I wanted to capture these ones and make sure that you know about them, starting off with Numerous, with What Remains When Hope Has Failed. The debut album from this UK band featuring past and present members of Wooden's Throne, Ahamkara, Live Burial, and Neolithic is a stunning and depressing look at the world today. While the production is as raw as atmospheric black metal gets, it's the songwriting that captivates you and leaves you wanting more. It gets quite rich and grand the longer that you listen to it, and it feels like the soundtrack to our post-apocalyptic demise. Every main song on here is also grand in scale, with the shortest song being over 6 minutes and the longest being over 10. Again, the production will not be for everyone, but if you can get past that and you enjoy the likes of Wooden's Throne, Falls of Raros, and A Fall of Stars, you will love what Numerous has to offer in all their glory. What a magnificent display of atmospheric black metal. And finally, the last album I'll be covering in 2025 is Weft with The Splinter Door. Live guest and studio violinist for Panopticon Charlie Anderson has put out one of the best atmospheric black metal albums of the year. This is another album where if you want the cleanest, slickest production possible, this will not be for you. For everyone else, this is a raw, intense, and emotionally shattering display of what can be done with atmospheric black metal. There are obvious hints to Panopticon. I mean, how could there not be? I mean, even Austin Lund does the drums on this one. But there is so much more to explore in this style. There are phenomenal moments of folk, classical, American, Americana, death metal, and so much more, and shows what the band has to offer. In short, this feels like the Panopticon album that a lot of people who wanted the North American folk metal side of Panopticon to come out in 2025 wanted. This feels like the excitement of the genre done with even more exploration and determination. As long as you can appreciate atmospheric black metal, this is one of the finest examples of the genre in the year, bar none. Just give it a listen and prepare to drift away. And there you go, folks, the final albums I'll be covering in 2025 for Out Today and What I Missed. What'd you think? Did I pick out some good albums? Did I pick out some bad ones? Anything of interest to you? Anything you'll be looking forward to? Anything you're going to steer clear of? Please let me know down below. And if somehow in 1,021 albums in 2025, I didn't cover something that you wanted me to cover, let me know down below. Maybe I'll cover it in January. We'll see what happens. But also make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the hype button, all of that that stuff to get this scene to as many people as possible. And thank you so very much for tuning in. And make sure to come back on December 1st as we start Heavy Debriefings top 100 albums of 2025. But until then, for the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel, this is Josh Runquist saying, embrace the skillet.